Between me and Becky, we've easily had over 50 plaice today. Beautiful plaice. This has been the most amazing plaice session I've had for a very long time. They are juicy baits, ready to get whacked out. There we go, back in the water, back fishing. Okay. The plaice are definitely in. Woohoo! Good morning. It is yet another glorious day, and today you're joining me fishing down Shoreham, again out targeting plaice. It is absolutely fantastic conditions. I'll just spin you around so you can see the sea and how glorious down here it is. There we go. It's absolutely stunning. You can't get much better than this. So yeah, definitely after the plaice today. I'm fishing down here with my mate who's already pulled a few out, which is fab. I've got one rod cast out with my mono bar rig and a frozen lug on. So let's take a little look at the bait that I've got with me today. So the bait, got it all in the cool bag, especially on a sunny day like this, even though it's still April and it was 3 degrees when I was driving down this morning. In the sun it would cook. I've got 30 fresh lug, 1 wrap of frozen lug that's been cling filmed. I like to keep it frozen in cling film rather than paper. I have some frozen mussels, quite a few of those, and randomly I just chucked a couple of squid in just in case I fancied using them. They were in my freezer, needed using up. Not in the best nick, but you never know. If I run out of the other bait, if it's really good fishing, I can at least chuck one of those out later on. But definitely main target the plaice, and hopefully we're going to bag up today. I've got a really good feeling. The sea is superb looking. It's pretty clear now. 2 days ago there was still a bit of colour in it when I was fishing down Brighton, but today it's really cleared out and it's looking stunning. So let's keep those fingers crossed and hope for a few flatties. Well, my first cast's been out there quite a while, so I'm going to get this reeled in. This is the mono bar rig with the lug. See if we've got anything. This is a shout out to David, who just walked down the beach and said hello. So if you're watching this one, hiya, nice to have met you. Oh, it feels like there's a bit of weight on here. Hopefully we'll be into our first plaice. Oh, it's just gone a bit light. That's not a good sign. Nope, nothing on this one. So, just loosen the drag off a bit. We'll take a look at the rig I'm about to chuck out. Wow. We'll have a look at that one as well. Look at that. Absolute tangled mess. Gonna have to sort that out. Anyway, let's take a look at the other rig. So one of my rigs I'm using today, I have here. This is a loop rig with 18-inch snoods, and I've loaded the top hook with a fresh lug, and the bottom hook, there we have a lug with 3 fresh mussels, well frozen fresh mussels on there. And as always on the snood, we've got the cascade swivel to clip the top hook on, and the mini rig clip to aid unhooking. And this is all on my Plaice Pro competition performance. There we are. And the reel on there, that is the Plaice Pro Banzai Mono Mag tournament reel. So let's get this whacked out. Come on, Mr. Plaice. Well, I'm on my second cast. It's definitely time for a cup of tea. I didn't have time to have one before I left home. I only had an espresso. But as I said in my last video, I do need my cup of tea. So let's get the jet boil on and get cracking with the caffeine. Thankfully, it only takes about a minute to boil. So it's not going to be too long until I get my fix. And I'll be good to go. And I've got a banana here for my breakfast. But yeah, there's quite a few people fishing down here now. I'm expecting the beach to get busier as the morning goes on. I reckon the next hour I'll probably get quite a few more people turn up as they're getting out of bed. But anyway, I'll catch you in a bit. Oh, my lovely cup of tea. It's nice and hot and brewing. So while that's sitting there, getting a bit stronger, we're going to reel in one of my rods, the one with the hybrid lead on and the 2-hook clip down. Let's see what we got. It's not feeling very heavy. No, nothing on there. I have to say I am surprised. The bait is looking, the bottom hook's untouched. Let's have a look at the top hook. Something's had a munch on the top hook. I'll just come a bit closer to the camera. Look at that. Something has had a munch on that, but not hooked. So if that happens again, I'm going to stick a grip lead on to give it a bit more resistance when the fish takes the bait. Anyway, let's get the next one chucked out. There we go. That's the monobar rig, single fresh black lug, ready to go. Hopefully it won't get tangled this time. Just check that loop. That loop's there. It's not tangled on at the moment before I cast it out, but let's get it whacked out. That drop length's all right. Lead's not quite straight though. Oh, it's got a little bit of a bend in it. Straighten that out, that'll fly better. Like that. I don't want it wiggling in the air. Anyway, time to get these baits out. Oh, it's time for me to stop nattering. There we go. Back in the water, back fishing. Well, because we're place fishing, I've been leaving my baits out soaking, good and proper. Still haven't noticed any bites, but it's time to get the next one reeled in, see if we got anything. I've got my 2-hook clip down baited up, ready to go out once this comes in. Let's see if there's a fish. Oh, well gripped. Oh, there's definitely some weight on this. Now, either my grip lead is superb and hasn't pinged out, or there's a fish on here, possibly even two. Becky next to me has had a double shot earlier, and there's a guy further down the beach who's been bringing in some nicer sized plaice, which is good to see. Well, let's see what we've got on this. Definitely feels fishy, which is fantastic. That's what we're here for, isn't it? To catch fish. Still got a bit of a way to come in. Something tapping. Closer to the edge, I can see my leader now. There we go. The moment of truth. And we have a double shot. Here we go. An absolutely miniature one. And a not so miniature one, but both quite small. Well, there we go, let's take a look at them both. Oh, there we have it. A little double shot of tiny plaice. I'll get these guys in a bucket of water, chuck my other lead out, and when these are recovered, we'll pop them back. Cracking stuff. So those two plaice, they were on my 2-hook loop rig, and I've got my 2-hook clip down here, ready to go back out, loaded with lugs. I just need to put my thummy back on, get this launched. So if this rig again fails to catch, then I'm going to stick a grip lead on, because I think I get better hookups sometimes when I'm plaice fishing using the grip lead. And that certainly Seems to be the case so far, though it's still a bit early in the session to know for sure. Anyway, let's get these baits whacked out. There we go. Back in the water, back fishing. So let's take a better look at these tiny little plaice. There we go. And the other one, get him out of the water. Oh, Becky next to me's just had a much better one. There we go. So I'll get these chaps unhooked, chuck them back. In fact, that little one, easy to get the hook out of that. It's thankfully not swallowed it down, but look at that. Absolutely tiny. Let's give them a quick measure. It must be the smallest plaice I've caught for a very long time. 19 centimetres, that one. Pop them back in the bucket. Now I'll get this other one unhooked using the through the gills method that was in my last video. Let them recover and chuck them back. Well, these guys have had a rest in the bucket and they're both good to go back. There's our first one. That was the bigger of the two. It took lug and mussel. God, this sea is absolutely beautifully clear. Just wait for the wave. Off he goes. And the next one, the little baby. Come out. There we go, look at that. Good to swim off and fight another day. There we go. Nicely unhooked, returned. The plaice Becky just caught was a lovely 38 centimetre. So there's some better fish out there. We've got to keep trying. Maybe we'll get one. Now it's time to get our next one reeled in. This is the mono bar rig. So we're going to see if it's tangled up this time, and if it is, I'll sort something out. Well, it's definitely a bit of weight here again. Be nice to have a plaice on the end rather than a bit of tangle. I do quite like using the mono bar rig, even though I've only got one hook out there. I'll just get it that little bit further. And while my casting's pretty decent, I've got a PB over the field of 170 metres, that's 186 yards. In old money, I can't quite get a bait as far as some of the big casters. So I'll do everything I can to just hit that little bit of extra distance when I'm out trying to catch a bigger plaice. It just feels like my grip lead's bouncing along the bottom at the moment rather than there being actually a fish on there. We'll find out soon enough. Could be a fish. Sometimes it's hard to tell, isn't it? I'm sure you all know that. Oh, need a lot. Yep, we got a fish. There we go. Another one. Look at that. Beautifully lip hooked as well. That's still quite small. We want to get a bigger one than this really. But that's 3 fish. And I'm happy. So I've got my 2-hook loop rig ready to go, and hopefully you can see there I've got a lug on the bottom hook there, just tipped off with a couple of mussels. Keep it streamlined. Sometimes I whip the mussels on the outside of the lug, but here I've gone just for sticking them at the bottom, and again single lug on the top hook there. I'm going to get this whacked out, see if we can get another plaice. There we go. Good to go. Oh, now I'm just going to have to pause proceedings. We've got a kayaker paddling past, so I won't cast just yet. Right, he's safely gone past, so it's safe for me to get my lead back out. I'll twist my mags off a little bit. It's probably risky. Or maybe not quite that far. I'll set on 2 now. I'm hoping with the little bit of breeze, it's enough just to not let it fluff up. Let's hope it doesn't fluff. There we go. Nicely out, no birdie. Maybe I'll go for that extra click next time. So I thought we'd just take a little look at my mono bar rig. You can see that very short snood there. Sorry, snood, rig body. Very short rig body. And again, I've got my 3-foot snood like I was using the other day. The difference today is I've actually gone for fluorocarbon. I've got a 20-pound Axia fluorocarbon snood. And on the business end, I've actually stuck a couple of pop-ups on there, just little tiny ones, give it a little bit of extra movement. And the reason I've gone for the fluorocarbon is because the water's really clear today, and the little pop-ups just aid a bit of movement. So Plaice can be quite inquisitive feeders. Because we've got that clear sea, I thought a little bit of movement on here, just a tiny bit, aided by those 2 pop-ups, would give me a bit of an edge. So let's get some bait on here. We're going to go with a single fresh black, tipped off with a bit of mussel. So here's the lug. Oops, I've just spilled some mussels, there we are. And I'm just going to take the tail off like usual. Snip that sandy tail. And just nick the head off. Slide that up on the bait. Give it a slap first, there we are. Slide it on the baiting needle. I've got the size 1/0 saltwater champion hook on this rig because I like using a slightly bigger rig, a bigger hook on my bar rig because it's only sending one bait out. It just stops the slightly smaller Plaice hopefully getting the hook in their mouth, although that one I did just land was a bit tiny. She's still sitting down there in the bucket next to me recovering. So we're going to slide that on, and we've got a bit of space at the bottom there, and that's where the mussels are going to go in a second. So I've taken some mussels out of their shells. Got the baiting tool, and I'm just going to get a couple of these and slide them on the spiky bits. Maybe 3 pieces. They're quite small bits, these. There we go. Get all that slid on, and now we're going to make that a bit tidier. Get the bait elastic, and we're going to whip this on. So this tool, this 3-prong tool, I got this one from Tronics Pro, but I think there's others out there as well. Very handy little tool though for small baits like this. Need a bigger size if I'm going to do fish baits or anything larger. But for a little bit of mussel like that, those prongs are just the right length. Now one of them has a little hole for the hook, that's that one there. So I'm going to get my hook, pop it in the hole, see what I could do with being a bit younger and be able to see better. And then we're just going to very gently slide that from the bait tool onto the hook. So there we go, lug tipped with mussels. And that's good to go. Maybe that'll pick up a 38cm Plaice like Becky's had, or maybe we'll get a bigger one. Woohoo! Well, the tide is absolutely ripping through. I cast my hybrid lead that direction, and my line is now going that way. So it really is ripping. I'm going to have to stick a grip lead on, I think, when I reel this in. But let's see if we've got any fish on here. So far, the 3 fish I've caught have all been on the rigs with the grips. I always like to mix it up when I'm fishing, because you never know what is going to work on the day. You can have a good idea based on previous experience, but every day when you're out fishing is going to be different. Anyway, we'll get this one wound in, and then I've got my mono bar rig baited up with lug and mussels ready to go back out. Doesn't feel like there's any fish on here, confirming my suspicion that the grip lead might be better today, but that's going to be interesting to find out, because when I stick the grip lead on, this is the only rig I've got that's 2 at click down, so it might be my rig choice that has been affecting my lack of fish on this setup. Oh, leader knot's coming. Just make sure I position that where I like it. No, no fish. Again, it looks like my top hook has been munched a little bit. Not the bottom one. Let's take a little look at that. So look, something's had a bite on that. So that's definitely going to get a grip lead on, and we'll see if it makes a difference. So that tide is ripping so much, even my 5-ounce grip is now going somewhat that way. I'll still stick this one out with a 5-ounce grip on, but in a minute I might be stepping up to 6s, because down where I'm fishing the tide really can rip through. Anyway, let's get this one out. So I brought quite a bit to my right before I cast this out, because the tide is running right to left. So I'm about 20 yards down the beach. There's someone else fishing further that way. That's still a fair way away from me, so if I need to go further next cast, I've got the space to do it. Let's get this one out. There we go. Let's see if we can pick up the next place. Well guys, we've just had a visit from the Angling Trust down here on the beach, and I was reeling in while I was chatting away to them. But let's see what we got. We have not one, but two beautiful plaice. There we go, another double shot on the loop rig, lug on the top, lug and mussel on the bottom. So I'm going to get these guys unhooked. These are keepers, these are going to come home and the family are going to eat those up. Don't eat fish myself, but these are going to be enjoyed and taken back. So I'll get them in the bucket, get them unhooked in a minute, get rebaited, and we'll keep cracking on. Well guys, I just had that lovely double shot. It's time to get the next one reeled in and see if we got anything on here. Let's wind down into it. With that tide ripping at the minute, that's a really good thing for the place down here where I'm fishing at Shoreham. Tighten the drag up. Oh yeah, there's definitely some weight on this again. Let's see what we've got on here this time. This is the one I stuck the 6-ounce grip lead on, the 2 clip down rig. Another double shot would be nice, but I'd settle for one over 40 centimetres. Becky just had a 42. The biggest one I just drilled in was 37. There's definitely a bit of may rot showing though, which is a pain. Oh, that has just gone really, really light. That's not good. Damn, 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 damn. We can't win them all. We can't win them all. I might switch out this 2 clip down rig, which hasn't been doing very many favours today, for a different style of rig. I might get another loop rig out. Yeah, nothing on there. Sorry, it was the mono bar rig. I take it back. It wasn't the 2 clip down. Mono bar rig, nothing on there. In fact, even though that was really heavy at the beginning, it could have just been the may rot on the line, I suppose. And the tide is absolutely ripping. Anyway, let's get the loop rig chucked back out. See if we can tempt some more flatties. Unclip that. Get this one on. Oh, keep the line tight. I've got that all clipped up. There we go, look. Juicy baits, ready to get whacked out. Well guys, it's about half an hour after high tide now. I had a nice little flurry of fish along the beach when I had that double shot just now. That's about half an hour ago. So it's time to get this one wound in. See if we've got any more fish on here. That feels pretty heavy, but the grip lead might still be in. There's definitely some weight on that. Definitely some weight on here. Hopefully we have another fish. It's a bit of a shame that there's already been a bit of may rot on the line. That was pretty gloopy and horrible. It's very early for that to appear, really. This has got some weight. We're getting close. I can see my leader knot coming. It's got a bit of a glob of may rot on it. There it comes. Clean that off. Oh, it's fighting back. What do we have? Another Plaice. There we go. I think that's number 6 now, maybe. Look at that, beautiful Plaice. Not the biggest, so this one's going to go back, fight another day, but lovely to see. Well, there's been a steady flow of fish today. The better fish came when the tide was really ripping, just before high. And it's now about an hour after high tide, getting nearer lunchtime, nearer time for another cup of tea. Becky's just pulled another fish out. Let's see if there's anything on here. If there is, it's not a big one. But there is a little bit of pullback, although not a lot. I'm not convinced there's something on here, but there might be. Maybe when it gets nearer the edge, we'll have a better idea. Oh, I just about see my leader now. So we're getting close to the edge. Oh yeah, there's something on here. It's just woken up. It's getting near to the edge. It knows the end is in sight. There we are. I think this is number 7 or number 8. It's beginning to lose track. But there we go, that's the 2-hook loop rig doing the business again. That's definitely been my best rig today. In fact, shortly I think I'm going to stick another loop rig out and do away with the 2-hook clip down. But there we go, another shore and Plaice. Well, it's time to reel in again. Let's see if we've got anything on here. Certainly a bit of a pull round on this tip, and I did whack this one quite a distance. There we go, before I start reeling too much. Fair bit of line shifted off that spool. It's nice to have the wind behind you. But I've only got the mags on 1.5 now on this reel. It's flying. But is there a fish? Let's see. Maybe. Maybe not. It doesn't actually feel that heavy, to be honest. Sometimes I wish I didn't cast quite as far. There we go, guys, nothing on that one. Let's see if the bait's been attacked. Nope, that was the mono bi-rig, and that bait is untouched. But we've still got plenty of time left, and that tide is going to start ripping again soon. Well, we're going to get today's most successful rig chucked back out. Lug on the top, lug and mussels on the bottom. Just as was worked well before, let's get these baits out. Awesome. We're back in it, back in the sea, in with a chance. Let's see if we've got another fish. Tide's really dropping down. There's still a bit of weight on there. I'm actually hopeful there's a fish. Maybe. Just got a passerby asking me if I've caught anything. Oh, we're quite near the edge now. Leader knot's come out. Yep, we have a fish. And you can guess what kind of fish it is. It's not a whiting, it's not a dogfish, it is another tiny little plaice. Let's get this guy unhooked, chuck him back, lip hook so it's going to come out nice and easy. We'll get him to swim up well. Let's get this little guy shoved back. Off he goes. Well guys, because the 2-hook loop rig has been doing the best, I've actually got another one out now. So this is a second 2-hook loop rig, and I'm going to pack away the 2-hook clip down. So let's get this one whacked out and keep on trying to capture some more plaice. It's been a really good session today. Quite a few of the people who came down are packed up now because we're well into the ebb of the tide, as I've said a couple of times. But the fish are still feeding and I'm still trying to catch them. There we go. Launch to sea for the Plaice's tea. Time to reel this one in. I had a couple of little knocks on it and the tip was pulled right round. That could be the tide or it could be the sign of the Plaice on the end. So let's get this grip lead out of the ground and see if it's got any weight on there. Oh, that is well stuck in. Certainly feels like there's a bit of weight. Tighten that reel seat up, that's better. Let's see what we got on the end. Again, it's chucked out a fair old way. I do tend to focus on distance fishing when I'm down here, because that's where most of the fish tend to come, certainly when I've been Plaice fishing this time of year. There's definitely some weight on this. Definitely some may-rot on my line. Nobody likes a may-rot, just like people don't like getting their rigs mangled by slimy eels like I did on my last trip. Alright, let's turn you round so you can see if anything comes out of the water. Nearly at the edge. Let's see, what have we got? We got another double shot. Let's have a look. That's that loop rig doing the business again. So it just goes to show how rig choice can really affect what you're catching. And there we go guys, 2 more Plaice. Not big, not really tiny, but very nice to grace us with their presence on the beach today. The Plaice are definitely in. Woohoo! Fucking love it. Oh, probably shouldn't say that. I love it. Love it, love it. Well, mono bar rig going out this time. 2 lug on there with a little bit of mussel in the middle. We'll get this one launched, see if we can get some more. Let's get these baits out. Got the drop length a little bit too long, take an inch off that. There we go. Check the mags. Not a trap around the rod tip. Looks like we're good to go. Back out in the sea goes the Plaice's tea. Well, what can I say? It's been Plaice after Plaice after Plaice today. Let's see if we got some more. I think I had a little knock on this and it certainly feels Plaicey. Nope, nothing. Nothing this time. I set my other line. That's probably why it felt a bit heavy to start with. But there we go, that monobar rig. Nothing's even touched the bait on that. We'll get another rig sent out. Wow, just chucked 2 more fish back. What can I say? This has been the most amazing Plaice session I've had for a very long time. They are in, the Plaice are in. You need to get down while the conditions are spot on. It's going to be better and better all week. Fantastic. Well, what can I say? It has been an absolutely epic Plaice session. Between me and Becky, we've easily had over 50 Plaice today. And we've been fishing probably from about, well, I got here about 7:30 this morning. Becky was already here. It is now 3 o'clock. So it's been a fairly long session by my standards, but it's been mental. Double shots of Plaice, single Plaice. For me, the biggest was 37, which is all right. Becky's had, I think, 3 in the 40s, which was really lovely to see. And yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. So down Shoreham, fishing for Plaice, you can't get much better. If you've enjoyed this Plaice fishing video, please consider clicking the like and subscribe button. And I wish you all the luck if you manage to get out and target the Plaice as well. Great stuff. See you again soon.